Another game of IPL 2022 and another compelling watch, and it's going to be the clash of the Kings on Sunday night. You don't want to miss this match preview with Russel Arnold. Hello, wherever you are watching on YouTube, of course. My name's Avnish Hegde, and you're tuned in to cricket.com. We have another fascinating preview to, of course, go about business with, because it is going to be Chennai versus Punjab, and we have a man who is going to be siding CSK in this one, Russel Arnold. Russel, I know you're a cheeky CSK fan. They've lost 2 games for the first time in the season. The 2 opening games, I should say. Is it time for them to press the panic button?
No, not really. You can turn it around. It's a long season. But you have to start moving. It's time to start picking up wins. If not, you're going to be left behind. Teams have to play each other, and hence teams will drop games. But you need to be in the mix. The moment you fall behind, that's when the problem starts, and you'll start asking yourself questions. And CSK will ask themselves lots of questions because, in my opinion, they haven't recruited well. They haven't got many X factors, and they've relied on lots of tried and tested players over the past so many years. And most of these players are not actively playing cricket. So why I say actively playing cricket, Avnish, is if you're not as sharp. It's very hard to just switch on for the T20 tournament only. When your life is cricket, life is much better in terms of being sharp and ready for the role. CSK are not in that position when you look at a lot of those players that they have. They haven't got their first picks in. And I feel if they don't get another win or 2 very quickly, then there's reason to panic.
Yeah, we'll ask you about CSK's team composition in just a bit. But like you said, they might be a touch rusty going into this season. Let's take a look at the head-to-head of Chennai versus Punjab, because 25 times they've met each other in IPL history, and Chennai have enjoyed better success, 15 compared to the 10, and even since 2020, it's the Super Kings who prevail over the Punjab Kings. Russ, having said that, let's talk about one important person for Chennai Super Kings, and that is Ruturaj Gaikwad. Back-to-back failures. Is he feeling the heat, or he shouldn't panic?
Well, if he's a champion player, he'll know what to do. He'll look to calm himself down and play his own game. Now, this is what happens with lots of young players who burst onto the scene, because there's no pressure. They just come out there, the youth, the exuberance of youth, they are able to express themselves. Then come the next season, and as you go on, the expectations are on your shoulders. And there's more expectations on Gaikwad's shoulders this year to take that batting lineup through. He was tried for India, and all that tends to wear you down. That's when you need to evolve. You need to show that you got some ticker inside and perform. So it's a test for Gaikwad. You'll have to back him to come out of this. But as I said, it's the same as the team. Gaikwad fires, it translates to the team settling into a better rhythm and being well oiled. So it's the same thing. The individual does well, the team does better.
We talk about CSK and how they spend all their money in Deepak Chahar. He's not back, of course, due to injury. But they've gone in with 2 unproved Indian pacers in Mukesh Chaudhary and Tushar Deshpande. How important will it be for their overseas players to come back and come back fast?
Very important, because the overseas players are supposed to be X factors. Gone are the days where anyone and everyone fitted in. Right now, teams have grown over the years. Indian players have improved over the years. And at different places, they got players. The faster bowlers, there are a lot of Indian pacers intact. They hardly look for spinners outside because India had a lot. They look for the big hitters. So you have to make a difference to that team. And hence, there's no margin for error here when it comes to that international player. He is looking to always make a difference. So you got to hit the ground running. And when you're 2 out of 2 down, it's going to be very, very important. And when you look around that CSK squad, where can you go? Where can you go for that X factor? Well, honestly, I'm struggling to find who I can really rely on to turn it around. So whoever it is has to surprise me.
Yeah, we can't now, of course, not ask you about Ravindra Jadeja, because it still feels like MS Dhoni is calling the shots, especially in those crucial moments. But I want to ask you, if this has kind of hampered Jadeja's form as a player, has it kind of hit the confidence where it kind of really doesn't do well for him and the team?
I think Jadeja is the type of player who will thrive on this situation, who will thrive on being given the responsibility of captaincy. But he's got to settle into it. Obviously, there are a few traits that you need to bring into it in terms of, if you go to bat, you're not captaining while you're batting. You're totally focusing on your batting. Then when it comes to the bowling, sometimes you are reluctant. That's why lots of teams don't go to bowlers as captains, because they're reluctant to bring themselves on at crucial stages whereas another person would trust you. There are a few dynamics that tend to change, but Ravindra Jadeja, what I mean by he needs to settle in is, yes, you can't help but look to Mahendra Singh Dhoni, you can't help to but have his experience flowing through. It's about getting the right balance in, and for Jadeja to settle in and just play his game quietly. He'll grow into the captaincy. He'll start learning to call the shots and understand his players. You mentioned he's got lots of young bowlers, so he still doesn't know when he can really use them, when he can rely on them, where are they strong. Because if you take Deepak Chahar also, first few years he was a new ball bowler. It's quietly that he became a bowler they could use at different stages. That's the way it is, Avnish. You need to adjust, you need to understand, and you also need to bite the bullet. That's where CSK and Jadeja are at right now.
Okay, because look, some people in Chennai are still believing that MS Dhoni is the invisible captain, and we'll leave that story there. Now, the reason we haven't spoken about Punjab in greater depth in this preview so far is because Russ, we got him for the Kolkata and the Punjab game, and he picked the bones out of Punjab, so you guys can go check that out on our YouTube channel. It's some riveting points that Russel Arnold's mentioned there. But I'll ask him one about Punjab right now, and it's the obvious question here. Should they kind of aim to win every toss and simply chase? Because their bowling, like we alluded to last time around, Russ, hasn't got that X factor, you think?
Well, at this stage, looking at the conditions on offer, early days in the tournament, lots of the games are played in 2-3 venues, 4 venues in fact. So the groundsman understandably will protect that wicket. He'll leave a lot more grass. The spin is not going to come into it straight away. What I mean by spin is they will play a part, but it's not going to turn square. So it's a different ball game. You're going to have to handle the dew later. So lots of teams, most teams, unless you see that pitch crumbling, they'll want to chase. They'll want that advantage of the ball sliding onto the bat. So it's not only for the Punjab Kings, it's for any team. They'll want to win that toss, to chase, to know what they're chasing. But you're right, the bowling can look a little weaker on paper, but you just don't know. And for certain teams, the captains, when they start understanding what your team's strengths and weaknesses are, they'll start using those bowlers very differently. Another fact is also you have your plan A when you come in to take on teams. When the pressure is on, your ability to go to plan B or plan C and rotate your bowlers is also will be tested. Lots of new captains we're seeing around, and we're seeing different ways that they're going about it, and we're seeing some short at this stage. So they'll only get better. You'll have to back them to get better, and things changing around. For Punjab Kings, it's important that Agarwal uses his bowlers wisely. I don't think he did that wisely enough against the KKR. Once they were 51 for 4, if they didn't get them down to 51 for 4, I wouldn't be as critical. But moment you got that opening, things should have been different in the way Agarwal thought and the way he used his bowlers.
Absolutely. Let's just wrap this preview up then by asking who is, of course, possessing the weaker attack right now in terms of bowling, Chennai Super Kings or Punjab, and will it eventually decide the fate of this game?
I think for me, the Punjab Kings bowling attack looks a little stronger because of the fact that they have the likes of Kakisor Rabada as a leader. But then there's no one really that you can rely on to be that X factor in the CSK bowling lineup. There's Ravindra Jadeja, who we know all about and what he can do. But are the conditions going to be favorable for him to really be that impact bowler? Not yet. I think maybe deeper into the tournament, but not right now. So if you're asking me for this game, I'd say Punjab Kings are better placed.
Okay, let's see how it all trickles out there at the Bourbon Stadium. Match number 11. Catch it, of course, on Sunday. You can catch it in cricket.com. And if Chennai Super Kings lose, well, the one thing's for certain, he'll definitely be throwing the cat amongst the pigeons.